Mike, how we doing?
I am great, Frank. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
It feels great. First episode, you and I in 2026, baby.
Yeah, because we had Christopher last week.
So it's nice jumping back into things.
It is. It's like I love having guests on stuff, but when it's just you and I, it's a lot more relaxing.
I know what you mean.
It's like, all right.
It's a natural, free-flowing conversation.
Yep.
Yeah, and it feels good.
And so brew some coffee to anyone listening out there because you might fall asleep.
Ready to dive right in. So it's 2026. It's February now. We're finally stepping into the real new year. What is it? The spring equinox.
Yeah, well, I'll be coming up soon. But
we're not far away.
Yeah, not far away. Yeah. So.
Yep. So we're getting out of this. It's very odd, how we celebrate this created calendar year, 12 months, start of the new year is the dead of winter, when our bodies, should be resting and all this stuff. I think it's so funny how we do this, and then you learn about like these different concepts and you're like, oh, this isn't like the actual start of the new year. We're in the dead of winter, this is when our body should be resting. So for anybody who hasn't jumped and sprung into their 2026 yet, don't worry, it's coming.
Yeah, it's like, trying to find the beginning of a circle is kind of what we're looking at, right?
Yeah, a little more of a spiral, right?
Yeah, but you don't know where the beginning is. You can place a dot or a location on the circle and say, that's the start. I'm like, yeah, but it's really not.
I know.
It's the focus point where we're at.
I love it.
And I think as we start to understand these cycles and we start to dance with them, just like musicians utilize a metronome to keep count, and we start to do that, life becomes easier. And then when life becomes easier, we could stop stepping into these higher states and actually see that they start to take over.
And that's what we need to talk about today.
Yeah,
that field. Yeah. Exactly. I love that.
So the field is the governing agency, right?
It is
well known by physicists and stuff like that. So
fundamental.
Mike and I are going to attempt to talk about what the field does when we get into the field. And it's not like a particular field, just like every radio station has its own
frequency channel
and its field. So in that particular field, when we're playing jazz music, rock music, or classical, it doesn't matter what genre, but in that field, that's what happens. So when I get to that field, I can now relax and listen to what's happening rather than the work is getting to the field. So, okay, we're going to show you how to slip into the field. What field? And we could also show you how to initiate a field. And we'll get into those concepts as well. So
I like that. I like that. So for those listening, I recently, January, what was that? I don't know. I think it was January 9th. It was a couple weeks back. Kayla, my fiance, got us tickets to Abraham Hicks. So we saw Esther Hicks in person here in Arizona, and it was beautiful. So I thought that'd be a great thing to kind of mention because the vortex she's talking about is the same field that we're referencing. How do you get into the vortex? How do you get into this field? How do you get into this state? Well, in fact, it is our most natural state. We've just been so used to being in fight or flight for so long that we discount that state or put it on a pedestal or act like it's something to be achieved when in fact it is our most natural state.
Yeah, and it's obtainable. It's not unattainable. And
at any given moment.
Yeah, and in certain religions, they created doctrines in order to obtain that, and you had to follow in this direction. If it didn't work, it's like, well, you must be doing something wrong. And to some degree, they're not wrong, but it's not a really efficient way of looking at it because different times, different lives, different cycles create different types of modalities to get there. And even the modality itself has to be let go of in order to get into the field. It gets you there, just like when you go to a rock concert or any concert, doesn't matter what kind of music it is, getting in there, shuffling through, handing a ticket, getting to your seat, all that's kind of like this weird disruption of whatever. But then once the music starts, you're in the field.
Oh, yeah.
But all that disruption is well worth it, getting in there, because you know that.
The traffic, the line, the
everything. It's like it's
going
not
through
the
security.
Part, it's not the exactly. It's not the part you're looking for, but it's so worth it. And think about that. Like if a concert goes 2 hours, a couple of minutes of waiting in line, getting your scanned so you don't take any certain items into the concert. It's all worth it for the next 2 hours. That's why we do it. And that's what we're here to do, is understanding it. It's all one complete unit.
I like that.
So don't try to divide them or separate them. That's going to cause more problems.
Well, let's start by talking about the field and defining what, to us, that field means.
Yeah, so let's go to take a concert this way. Like, and I suggest everyone look up. Don't take my word for this, but there are studies out there where they'll take like a type of apparatus and they'll put it on your head to measure the outputs of the neural pathways in your brain, what's firing up, what isn't firing up, and different parts of the brain when you're firing up. One will be stress, one will be more higher end.
Oh yeah, lighten up in different areas of the
Exactly.
brain. I've seen that. Yeah.
So if you were at a concert, it doesn't matter who it is, just pick your favorite band and imagine it. And you just, for argument's sake, take the lead singer and you put the apparatus on his head or her head, doesn't matter. And then you put it on your head. And say behind stage is 2 monitors. Each monitor is individually separated from or monitoring the individuated apparatus on each one's head.
Okay.
Now,
for those listening, let's pretend Frank is the rock star on stage and I'm an audience member.
Yes, agree.
Okay.
But backstage, the person viewing the monitor doesn't have a name that says Mike or Frank, so it doesn't know.
They just are monitoring our brainwaves
Yep.
and where they're lighting up in different areas.
Exactly. And once the musician initiates the field and starts it, and the song begins, all of a sudden everyone there starts to fall into this field. And then when they're looking at the monitor, they can't distinguish who's the lead singer and who's the member in the audience.
See, that is beautiful.
It's because once the field starts, it takes over. How long you stay in it, how long it lasts. Like, you ever watch the flock of birds moving around?
Of course.
And they would always study, and they were trying to find who's the lead bird. Like, well, it isn't lead bird. It's the field leading. And then all of a sudden, they're doing it. And after a while, a couple of birds leave. Some stay behind.
They rearrange.
Rearrange.
There's a new lead.
Yeah. So these fields, now they're going into another field. And that bird that might be flying away is going into its individuated field. So we're always in some type of field. Can we be initiator of what we call the field that we want to be in? And then what we call the mob mentality, which would be looked at as more of a negative thing, where you get around enough people, you can convince yourself to throw a brick through a window, right? That is a field of itself.
Absolutely.
So you can have a station that's very demonic, and let's look at that as negative music. And when you put that on, you're going to get that result of it. Now, there is a higher place over all this. I can go in and listen to demonic music and not be affected by it. Now, I might go in and I'm like, oh, this is making me feel bad. Well, step out. Ask yourself, why am I letting this make me feel bad? Once you get to that place where you can have that ability to let go of it, you wouldn't need to even go to the demonic setting, to test it out. But this is kind of what we're talking about. So what field do we want to go into? And as we're coming into this new era of time, some call it the age of Aquarius, whatever you want to call it, we're stepping into this new energy center where everyone's waking up differently. So I always love the people that think they're smart. Like, there's a lot of dumb people. Somebody's telling me this. Like, who indicates they're dumb? And maybe they are. I don't know. And like, who indicates who's more
smart.
awake?
Yeah.
Who indicates smart? Who indicates they're more
or awake, anything.
I only know I'm awake based on the way I used to think when I was 18. Like, holy shit, I was asleep when I was 18 to a degree. So I can't really compare my awakeness or my feel to anybody else, because that would be my ego or my left brain trying to figure that shit out. And I realize when that happens, I just laugh. That's where my humor comes from. If you consider it to be humorous, I don't know. That's subjective.
It definitely is.
Yeah, that's subjective as well. So it's not objective. But so once we do that, get into the field, then we can invite others into the field. And we notice this. Like, a lot of people don't notice. Like, you walk into a room and you're feeling good. All of a sudden, somebody might have been having a miserable day, starts to feel good. It's because you generated and created the field. You initiated going into the field, but you didn't create the field. Just like I didn't create the radio station I tuned into. It was a compile of multiple things coming together that did that. I just chose that particular station to tune into, and then I got into the field, and song after song after song is related to that particular field.
I love that you bring that up because I use this daily with my work, my career. So I work in real estate, and I run into all walks of life. I work with all different types of people. It's the coolest thing in the world. But where I maintain my field, I watch as I can take those people who are, you know, in a panic, in a stress, you know, any type of, you know, state that they're in, and I bring them up to where I'm at. I hold steady in this field when I'm engaging with them. I don't get pulled into the drama. I don't get pulled into the panic. I don't get pulled into the, you know, story.
Yeah.
I'm aware of what it is, and I maintain and I watch. That creates a space for these people to
They either come in or reject it because we have no control of it. Like, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that walk out of a concert for a start, but, you know, the other 30,000 stayed. So it's not about forcing people into a state. It's allowing to stay or leave.
Creating that space.
And then when more and more people step into a space, the energy in that field
amplifies.
And then it's easier, right? Mm-hmm. But we like the nuances and stuff. And so how do we get to the place where we can create the field that we desire?
Well,
right?
From a physical standpoint, I tie it directly to nervous system.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about a couple modalities, everything from meditation, hypnosis to breathing, you name it, going to the gym, which requires you to breathe more and focus and stuff like that.
Eating right foods.
Yeah. All these things are indirect routes to it because you got to leave them, but they're really good modalities, you know? Like I was telling Mike earlier, we were talking about this earlier, where like a forceful way of doing something, which we did years ago to create a field, like we put a lot of effort into it. It would be like parking like 2 blocks away from the restaurant. So the car in itself is the modality in which it gets you there. So you have a car that's anger or whatever, and that. So now the anger is leaving me 3 blocks away. Where the higher place, where the more loving place, is like the limo that pulls up right in front of the restaurant. Now both modalities you have to step out of. But the limo that pulls right up and, you know, get there, you're like 2 steps into the restaurant. So it's an easier transition than the one that's 3 blocks away or whatever because of anger. They all work. It's just we seem to be efficient in our exploratory aspects of growth. So we like you don't want to go from the limo to the junker.
I like how you use that because it is about efficiency.
Yeah, and we're naturally efficient beings. But again, don't hang too much on, you know, because like if you pull up in a limo and it's like, oh, that guy's pulling up in a helicopter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you pull 3 blocks away, you're still getting into the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And who cares? So don't judge that. So wherever you are, whether you're 3 blocks away, 3 miles away, or you pull right up to the front, when you get into the restaurant, you're there. The guy who got dropped in the limo is no different than the guy sitting at the bar that actually had to walk because he has to walk home because he's going to be drinking a lot. You know?
Exactly.
And so we start to understand these modalities. And so one of my favorite modalities is breathing. And the other one I like to do, obviously meditation. But contemplation, to me, is a nuance of meditating, like just contemplating on the energy field that you're in and thinking about thoughts, but don't attach to them. Just let them come in. And the word contemplate means coming to temple. And when you're actually utilizing the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, you open up the right hemisphere of the brain. Well, that's where the temple is. You're contemplating coming in through here. You're not through just this side where it aggravates. So the left part of the brain knows only about 10% of whatever you're going to see in this world or activation of the brain. So we want to start marrying that in or transfer it into working in with the right hemisphere of the brain. And you're in a place of contemplation. When you're in the right part of the brain, you're thinking. And that could waste a lot of energy.
Left part.
Yeah. So the left part of the brain, if you're constantly in there, you're thinking, and that could suck up a lot of your energy. And when your energy's sucked up, you're tired. The field in which you are in or you're creating diminishes greatly.
Well, and that's why everybody in Western society is so exhausted. We are like, I always think of this like cartoon in my head where like we have this like blown up left side of our brain sticking out because our society as a whole, we only value or put value or highlight left brain type of things.
Yep.
And we throw to the side the right side, this creative, aspect to us.
Yeah.
And that, there's a reason that's done, but we are so left brain oriented. That's the reason we're all exhausted every day.
Yeah.
We're only using the left side of our brains, and we never marry the two hemispheres.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so tired.
And part of understanding is like in the world of placebo, which is really fascinating, is another modality. When you understand logically, like and I've mentioned this before on the show, when they did this this study where they took two groups of women that were housekeepers of a major hotel chain. Mm-hmm. And they took a control group, they took their blood work, they checked their weight, all the vitals. And they documented them down, they put them down. And then they took the other group and they did the same thing, but what they did with the second group is they took them into a seminar type of setting for like 2 or 3 hours. And they started to explain to them everything from vacuuming to changing sheets to mopping the floor, whatever activity they do to fulfill their job's duties was considered to be cardiovascular workout or exercise of some sorts, right? There might be some strength lifting if you're lifting up a vacuum, what have you. So over the period of 2 to 3 hours, they were explaining this to them. So then when they sent them on their way and they monitored both groups equally, so say come back like 2 months later, the group that was awarded the information that what they do on a daily basis that's fulfilling their need to work to get paid, it was also considered to be cardiovascular workout. Mm-hmm. So when they came back with the vitals, on average, they lost 15 pounds. Their bad cholesterol dropped. Their blood pressure, everything equalized in what we call a positive direction. Mm-hmm. The group that was told nothing really changed.
Exactly.
So just informing yourself with knowledge that's moving you in a direction. If you give yourself knowledge that moving the other direction, it still works. Mm-hmm. They call that it's still nocebo, because placebo means to level up. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean fake. The word placebo means to level up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So what we're doing is, in order to get to the next step, tell yourself positive about what you're doing. But don't stretch it out too far, because if you don't believe the placebo you're coming up with, it's not going to work, mm-hmm. right? So
you got to buy
in. Yeah,
in.
you could see, I'm like, oh, you mean vacuuming? I'm like, well, I am moving and I'm doing this. Oh, I am walking. I'm, mm-hmm. Breathing. I'm like, okay, I could convince my brain and my body that this cardiovascular workout, and all of a sudden the vitals in my body start to shift and change
and reflect it.
Yeah, reflect it. So when you start to do that, that's kind of like what we're talking about. So when you start to do modalities such as breathing, we know this, you breathe in like deep into however cadence you do it, you can change your nervous system right away. So when I start to change my nervous system going from, say, sympathetic to parasympathetic state, I'm literally changing the field around me. All right? And then, but how long do I have to breathe? So once I get to that state, I could stop breathing. It doesn't mean I get kicked out of the field. Mm-hmm. So I can let go of the breathing. Because sometimes the breathing might keep me from really feeling this blissful place. Mm-hmm. So maybe I go 5 minutes of breathing, what have you. And also, it feels good. Now I go into just a contemplative state. Now I got there. That was the vehicle that got me there. Then I let go of it. Then I step into another state. But there's always another place you can go. It never ends. That's the beauty of it. But then it becomes like this beautiful, brilliant nuance. Like a great musician just adds a little bend to something. This, you don't notice what they did, but they know what they did. And it changes everything. It changed the whole format of everything. And that's kind of where I like to play. And also, too, like I would always talk about like doing certain things like cold plunge and breathing and working out and all this stuff. And like it's like with the cold plunge, the science says, okay, it creates brown fat, it repairs the body quicker, all this stuff. And I could tell you for sure, I don't know any about the brown fat because I don't check it. I don't know if it repairs my body quicker because, fortunately for me, I haven't been injured in a while. But I can tell you what, undoubtedly, when I go into the cold plunge, I am a different person when I come out. Completely different. So the understanding of the raising of the dopamines, I can for sure say that to be, because every time I go in it, I'm different when I come out. The other stuff, I don't know. It may not be true. So over the years of me doing all these modalities, to anyone listening out there, just a little over a month ago, my son was killed in an accident. And when I found out, it was physically devastating. But even the moment I found out, when I really was delivered the information, there was this overwhelming peace in me. But then my body, I remember dropping my phone and my keys, but I didn't scream out. My first thought was, is the other person in the other vehicle okay? And then from there, I led on. I'm like, I have to call this person. I have to let all these people know. So I went into almost like a state of shock, or what you call it.
Definitely.
So it was almost like my spine, my mind, and my body were disconnected, and they had to be brought back. But I believe all the work I've been doing over the many years is what kept me from freaking out and kept me back in this place. Don't make any mistake. My body and stuff, I miss my son terribly, but I also know he's in a better place. But my nervous system is intact. I can feel it. I know what these things feel like. And I can only say is because I've been doing these things and this happened, I didn't freak out. But I wasn't preparing for this moment. This moment it came upon.
Correct.
And maybe I was led to do this stuff. I don't know. But there is something about this, because they say, and I remember, I've said this a couple times on the podcast, that 1% of our life is going to be tragic. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Well, oddly enough, I lost my brother 38 years ago to the same way in a car accident. Yeah. And here I was 38 years later losing my son. And I don't know what the theme of my life story is. Yeah. I really don't. And if I'm to know, it will appear. I don't question it. I just sit there and move along. But I notice when I allow myself to go to the upper chambers, I feel better. I still miss my son. I still, once in a while I'll step into something, I'll remember him, and I'll start to cry. But it's out of releasing, not out of fear. I'm not angry. Anger never appeared at all. Which, when my brother died,
you were angry.
I put my hand to a wall. I was very angry.
I remember that.
But my immaturity at that time of my emotional state was there. And so, yeah. And all of a sudden, I felt this overwhelming peace, even though I just got the news my son passed.
Yeah, no one would want it.
No, it was weird. It was like, wow. And it was almost like I didn't talk about it, because in society, you almost feel guilty. Why isn't he crying? Did he not love his son? It's no. I remember even today, someone hadn't seen since it happened, and I didn't know they knew about it, and they were crying, and they couldn't stop crying. I'm like, it's because you're a mom. You have a child. And she's like, why are you consoling me? I'm like, well, I found out a month ago. I try to make light of it because, to let people know it's okay. And here's a person that had to imagine, that's what happens. When people hear my story, if they have a child, they imagine what would happen to their child. It's terrifying. But for me, I can't lose my son again.
Exactly.
So the worry of that is gone. It sounds weird, but that's true. So there's a weird gift in all of this. But yet, here we are in this cosmic story. We're in the age of Aquarius. This happens. Is it good or bad? Who knows? I don't. But I know I can remain in this calm place. I still miss him. But I'm very at peace and calm. And I want to say it has to do with all the work I've been doing with working on my nervous system. Maybe I was drawn to work on my nervous system because the universe knew this was going to happen. I don't know. I'm sure people out will agree or disagree. I personally can't say I know that for sure right now. But I know there's a cosmic play going on, and I know it's all happening for a reason. I can make up whatever reason right now, but I don't feel like doing that.
And even if you do, that's just a story.
Yeah, it's just a temporary marker for that story because the story continues. So
And your perspective will change.
Yeah, new characters come in, new scenes come into the story, and then it changes. So I'm not trying to hold on to anything, even though the left mind wants to have answers, right? And, to me, it's like, the most common question asked when this stuff happens is why. The question my mind asks me is, now what? Like, what are we doing from here rather than why? Because why, to me, I'm like, maybe the why will come, but at that moment, I didn't need to know. What do I do from here? All right? And then I'm like, okay, maybe I share this with people that are going through it, maybe going through a more difficult time than I am. Maybe there's people out there that can share with me, and that's what's happening. There are people in my life that came out of the woodwork that have been in the same situation I am. Really interesting stories, And we just don't know. But just like a soldier going off to war, in the interim of that, get your body physically prepared, your mind physically prepared, so when these things do happen, you're better equipped to have it, right? So that's one level. That's the corporeal level I'm talking about. Then the higher level, it's just a play. But we're in this world, but not of it. But we're not of this world, but by God, we're in it. So there's nothing wrong with the actions of feeling sorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not about getting to a point where you don't have sorrow. I have sorrow, but I'm at deep, utter peace at the same time. So I'm not being wrecked by it. I can get up, and do stuff. I can still give my attention to others. I don't need to, oh my God, why isn't anyone? No. I was like that with my brother, though. Like, I remember, how is the world continuing? Doesn't anyone know? Yeah. And I remember, like, telling people and that, like, didn't even know me. Like, I just wanted to know how bad I was feeling. Now it's like, no, I'll just tell people, like, hey, how's your son doing? I'm like, well,
unfortunately,
you get these situations. And all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah. It's like, how are you so calm? And I'm like, how else should I be?
Yeah, right. What good does it do?
No, it doesn't. Yeah. There was no.
What field do you want to be in? Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, like, this is how I'd want to feel, but years ago, it took me a long time to get there.
Yeah.
Now, because this happened, I could give some bit of testimony that I fell right into it the moment I found out. Yeah, there's still sorrow. I wasn't like, woohoo, what are we doing tonight, But there was this tremendous peace that overcame me. And I think it had to do with, I'm no longer worried. Anyone out there that has children, they know that they worry. Whether you know it or not, you're subconscious, you're worrying. So,
natural.
Yeah. Well, that left my being. Now, I'm not saying, hey, the only way you could stop worrying about your kids if something tragic happens. I'm like, no. I'm like, there is a way to get there while your kids are alive, to where you don't worry. Because I know that to be true. Because I didn't worry about my son as much as most people did when he was alive, But yet, obviously, there was still a little bit of worry there, or belief about something that appears when something like this happens. So you don't know. Like, if people are like, wait, I'm like, people play all these scenario games. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea until it happens, and until it happens, you really can't say what you do. And I'm honest about that. I have no flipping idea. If there was a burning building, would you run and get? I'm like, I hope I would, but I don't know. I'm not trained to do that, But you don't know. But if you start to train your nervous system in moments where you have controlling your field, when something happens out of your control, you're better to equipped to deal with the moment situation. That Absolutely. I can tell you undoubtedly that's true.
Well, they've also run multiple tests on this.
Yeah.
Going into cold water, the shock of the body, shock of the nervous system. This allows you to deal with more stressful situations. Meditation, breath work. Like, these are all things that they have measured up against stressful situations. I don't think they've ever measured it up to such a tragic situation, but these have been compared in high stress situations, and people have been able to handle that stress better. They're more equipped, like you're talking about, to handle it.
there's still like whenever I go into cold plunge, there's still that like shock to the body. But when I first did it, I would scream.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, but now I just go in, I take a couple of short breaths, and then I go into my deep breathing and then relax. So I get into that state quicker because I'm used to this, and I just keep changing the temperature on the water to just give me different feels to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
does it feel different? Like, have you gone 5 degrees lower? Can you tell?
Yeah, you could feel it.
Oh, you can tell?
Oh, you can tell. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Your skin can tell. Trust me.
Yeah, you told me that it will come out. You'll be like pink or red, right?
Yeah. So if I go, like, my wife likes to be around 50 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and
Still cold.
Oh, it's still cold, but when I knock it down to maybe 45 or even lower, because before I go to Sweden, I'm going to get it down to 30s.
Yeah.
You could feel like pins and needles on your skin, but when you're breathing, your insides are warm, but the surface of your skin. And if you sit still in it, you can feel the heat barrier. It's crazy, but the second you move, it's like shit. The heat barrier just disappears.
Yeah, it disappears. So you have to be like real still.
Oh man! So it's really interesting how you can generate heat, which we thought was most unlikely in water, just by breathing and focusing and calming your nervous system down. It works. To what degree? To which degree you're willing to push?
Yeah.
To which degree your experience on this planet needs to be pushed?
Yeah.
Like Wim Hof, who I'm going to the Wim Hof
Sweden.
experience
Yep.
in Sweden. He hiked to the top of Mount Everest in shorts and no shirt on. I don't know if I'm ever going to do that. Call me in a couple of years. But it's the nuance of where I'm coming from. Cause I'm like, people are like, oh, you can do that. You do cold plunge. I'm like, yeah, but we live in Arizona, not Sweden. It's a whole different game.
Totally different game.
Like I jump into cold plunge in Arizona. It's like the winter at 60 degrees. That's the cold day,
Frank Hoff, Wim Daly.
Yeah.
Over here.
So I'm sure I'm going to be in major shock when I go do this, but
that's only a month and a half away.
Yeah, but to me, it's generating excitement. So there'll be a lot of people doing it. So when I go there, there's going to be, I don't know how many people, say there's 50 people there. The field of energy of all those people are what's going to help me get through it.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, I wake up in the morning, I just got my wife like, are you getting in the cold plunge? I'm like, that's not, honey, can you make a better field? Jesus Christ.
Generate a better field here for me.
I'm going in the cold water here. Come on, let's do some tribal moves.
Exactly, right? Where's the drum? Where do you need it or something?
I'm all alone on this one.
Yeah.
So when you get there, you get all these people egging you on. So it's so your body amplifies to a higher level. You can withstand that.
Well, speaking of just that in the field and what we're talking about, like this is why, like back in the day, they would have these drums going into war.
Yeah.
This is why we play these, music before we get out on a football field, on a basketball court, on, a soccer field, whatever. This field is a real thing. And the more we call it pumping ourselves up, or, that's the same type of field we're talking about. It's getting into this flow. Everybody knows this flow because it's like, it's when time flies by and if, 2 hours goes by and it feels like 10 minutes, that's the flow. This is that field Frank and I are talking about.
Yeah, where time is compressed and things get quiet. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is like, okay, when you're in a group of people, like say a pep rally like you do in high school and you get all amped up for the game later on today or tomorrow, however they play it gets you in there. Now, can we individually stay in that field? And that's the game. Because the pep rally is easy to get into. They got the loud music, you marching band, everyone's cheering you on. Mm-hmm. Now, when the audience gets quiet, can you stay there? Mm-hmm. And that's the game. How do I stay there? Well, individually put yourself in circumstances by yourself, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be going to cold water. It could just be, sitting, staring at the wall for 5 minutes, which for some people it's very difficult.
An eternity, yeah.
Yeah. So can you withstand a little bit of discomfort and stay there? Like these little things you can do. It doesn't have to be extraordinary. But over time, as you go inch by inch, the momentum starts to pick up. So one day, like staring at the wall for 5 minutes leads you to jumping into ice cold water. Like it becomes the next logical step. But in the beginning, the inertia buildup is a bit uncomfortable. But then you get to the point where you're jumping into this stuff, the momentum, you jump into really cold water, the momentum is not as painful as it was staring at the wall for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how it operates.
Yeah.
So start somewhere with something, even if it's 1 minute or 2 minutes a day breathing. And then notice when you're breathing, how do you feel? My God, I felt better. Okay, what would 3 minutes bring me? Right? Now, the object is not to get to 5 hours of breathing. That's not the object. The object is to get me onto the freeway. Like if I'm going 0 to 60, I have to get my RPMs up to like 5,000. But once I get up to the speed I want, they drop down to 2,000. I want to go faster with less energy. But in the beginning, that build-up, I'm going to need that energy. I'm going to need that high input. But if I'm trying to if I constantly drive my car at 5,000 RPMs, the engine's going to blow. It can't handle it.
And this is what burnout
system,
is.
Yeah, nervous system can't handle it. So how can I get there quickly? You know,
so we're all in fight or flight, running around with our RPM just imagine just going into, you know, whatever that low gear, you know, have you ever hit your shifter in and you hear it shoot up? And then that's how we're all driving around right now.
Yeah, and then and what you do not to blow your engine, you just slow down. Where if you change the gear, you can speed up and the RPMs can drop. That's what I'm talking about.
Shift.
So if you go like you want to go like that. So it's a different way of looking at it. People like listen, like what the fuck are these guys doing?
No, anybody
that doesn't sound like any
knows,
car.
They know exactly what we're talking about.
It sounds like a golf cart.
A really souped up, badass golf cart.
So once you shift into different fields or gears, however you want to look at it, the RPMs will drop. And then you keep moving up. And as you get to the upper speeds to where it drops all the way down to 2,000 RPMs, where it's very sustainable for long periods of time. That's what we want to do. Just like an airplane needs to make about 30,000 feet to where 500 miles an hour feels like nothing. It's wasting less energy. But if you're trying to do 500 miles an hour in an airplane 100 feet off the ground, that plane will fall apart. Or at least it would start shaking. I don't know. You know, I've never been in a situation like that. But you can understand the physical force. But when you get to higher altitudes, there's less resistance. And at the level of less resistance is where we want to go. Can we stay there? And the answer is yes. Is it necessary to stay there? And the answer is no, it's not.
So a key aspect that I want to make sure we bring up while we're talking about, you know, this field is how important and our level of awareness is in all of this. Because when you have a good level of awareness, this allows you to take your foot off the gas, you know, foot on the gas, you know, am I going in the direction that I feel is correct? Because for me, when I was learning how to get into this field, it starts with a lot of different thoughts coming your way. Am I doing this right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Right?
Yeah.
You know, this is stupid. You're not supposed to, you know, you weren't made for this, you know, this is for this type of person. You're going to hear all these different crazy thoughts, you know, going around. This is all trying to, your ego identity, try to pull in you back to the old you, the old way. Its job is to keep you comfortable. Anything unknown is uncomfortable. So you have to have this level of awareness going into this of, okay, what thoughts pop in, what things come up, I don't have to grab onto them. This is the old identity. This is trying to keep me comfortable. I'm stepping into this unknown. So having this level of awareness is crucial in order to enter the field. At least it was for me on my journey. And I remember this, like stepping into the unknown, stepping into this field. It's like letting go. It's a lot of surrender and having a level of awareness to say, I let go of those thoughts. I do not attach to those thoughts. I move forth. You know, I move into the unknown. I trust. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, but I think that what you said was really good. But the way it started out was when you start asking those questions, like, why am I holding on? That's the form of contemplation that I think it far exceeds meditation.
Yeah.
Because if you're just meditating, close your eyes, you're going to feel good in those 5-10 minutes or an hour. But then you get in your car to go to work and like, God damn it, traffic. God damn it, this and that. Like, I can't wait to get home and do meditation. But when you're contemplating, you get in your car, it's like, okay, why am I aggravated over traffic? And then your left brain was like, because you're late for work. Well, why am I getting aggravated over being late for work. I'm either going to be late or I'm not. Being aggravated isn't going to help. I'm going to walk into work now aggravated, and that's going to keep me even more time from getting to my work. So you start to answer all these questions, and as you're doing it, you find out there really is no real good answer. And so the contemplation allows you to get back into the nervous system that you feel, rather than trying to, like, when people are aggravated, I'm like, I'm aggravated, I'm going to go meditate. I'm like, I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Yeah, right.
I would.
Don't bring that shit in.
Yeah. Well, because you're going to meditate on the aggravation.
Exactly.
You're going to focus on it. So ask yourself, why are you aggravated? And you're going to have the first answer is going to be, well, I'm aggravated because all these assholes around driving, don't know how to drive a car. You know, okay, this asshole's been on this earth for many, many, many years. Why is this particular time? Yeah. Why is the assholes bothering you today? You know,
you keep asking yourself these questions. You're going to walk back to, there's no point in any of this.
Yeah, there's no point in any of this. And then you start, like, you know.
That's a great technique. You taught me that years ago.
Yeah, and then you let go of it. And when you let go of it, the energy lifts up. And then you take a couple of deep breaths, maybe light the candle and go into meditation. That's why most, if not all, meditations, not all of them, but a lot of them, start off with a couple of breaths when you focus on the breathing. So if I tell you to breathe in and breathe out, the left hemisphere of the brain knows what breathing in and breathing out is. So you're giving the left part of the brain something to do, and it quiets. And when the left part of the brain quiets, the right starts to open. And you get into this nice calm state. You start your chemical outputs in your brain, your pituitary gland, your pineal gland, they start to work more proper. To what degree, I don't know. Like, I'm not a neuroscientist or whatever, but I know when I start to do this, I feel better. And I've never met somebody that didn't know what I was going to say to them. And I'm like, do yourself a favor, close your eyes, and I have them focus on your left ankle, your right ankle, do this back and forth. Within 30 seconds, and I have them open their eyes. I'm like, what did you notice? And don't tell me I feel great unless you feel great. It's like, I noticed a shift. I'm a lot calmer. I'm like, the reason is you gave, your left brain was listening to my signal. Gave your attention to your right ankle, left ankle, knee, shoulder, whatever it was. The left brain knows what the right ankle is. The left brain knows the shoulder. So you're giving it something to do, rather than just running around screaming shit like out of a window. And when that calms down and you give it a task, this hemisphere opens up. When it opens up, your nervous system starts to relax. So if I'm doing a breath work, I can't really be thinking about work tomorrow. Why? Because I got and, you know, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, in, out, 7 or 8. It's occupying my left part of the brain to do the counting. That's why people say count sheep at night. And if you count backwards, it seems to work better, at least for me, because going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't have to think. But going 99, 98, your left brain has to focus. When the left brain focuses, it quiets down, and this opens up. And at nighttime, when this opens up, the serotonin converts in the pineal gland to melatonin. You start to dimmer down. Next thing you know, it's morning time. It works. To what degree we use it. And don't try to be perfect, because I don't even know what perfect is. Just play with it. Make it your own. When I listen to certain people that do breath work, I listen to them, I like them, but then I have to make it my own. And they even suggest that. I take, okay, here's a baseline. Now make it your own and see what you can do with it. And once you do that, then you're in control of the field in which you're going into. And also, my God, it's a lot easier than we think. We don't need to be jumping through hoops, We just need to sit back. If you're feeling sad, so what? Allow it to come in. Don't fight it. You don't want to create more resistance. That puts you into a higher beta state. We want to be close to low beta, theta. Allow it. I'm sad. Who cares? So what?
Everybody has been in this state multiple times throughout their life, hundreds of times, thousands of times.
Yeah, they're just not aware.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like going back to the placebo thing, where the women that knew what they were doing was cardiovascular workout. When you start to understand what's happening in a more logical sense and awareness, it's a greater effect. That I do know. So they're like, oh my God.
Like, I know when I'm in the field or not.
Yeah, we all do. But like some years ago, we were like, how the hell did I get in there? I was like,
No, it's before we call it good days or bad days.
yeah, and it's because Sally said hi to me, right?
Yeah,
And then,
right.
you know,
Yeah, we give it away
yeah, and
to
then
something outside
Sally
of us.
walks and doesn't say hi to me today. I'm like, motherfucker, what happened? Next thing you know, I see Sally a week later. I tell her to go fuck herself.
Yeah, but that's what we do. These
then-
stupid little things
Yeah,
that
and-
we think,
Yeah, and I never,
this made me feel this way. And
Yeah.
we usually give it to something outside of us.
yeah, because we have very low understanding of what's really going on.
Exactly.
And so once you start to understand this is where you can add the nuances. And
This will
The
also
delicate-
help people too. Sorry, go ahead.
no. I was
Okay.
just gonna.
I was gonna say this will also help people. Like, I see this all the time in like relationships. A lot of people are like seeking out this partner who's like, you have to save me, you have to complete me, you have to make me whole. Absolutely not. My fiance, like, we are whole beings, each independently, and together we have like this.
It's a greater field.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That's a perfect way to say it. It's a greater field.
Yeah.
She doesn't need me, to
I need-
complete
but
her.
To let everyone know, I need my wife.
Well, you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like, it is not this.
No, it's not a desperate situation.
Yeah, and I see that all the time, especially in relationship realm, where people are like, they give all their power outside of them away.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean because part of a relationship as physical beings at this moment in time, this will change over time. When someone falls, you give them a hand and they'll do the same for you. There's a dance here, right? Like in every dance, when you're dancing with somebody, at some point you're moving backwards, they're moving forward. At another point, you're moving forward, they're moving backwards. That's just the sway of it. That's just the way of the dance. So really what's nice is me and my wife are at a cadence when I need lifting, she's up.
Absolutely.
And when she needs lifting, I'm up.
Yep.
So it's kind of like we're not crashing into like you can't be upset today because I'm upset. I'm like shit. And if she calls it first, I'm like okay, fine.
Yeah,
Jeez, all right, it's not my turn.
Right.
And so it becomes like this funny game, and we play a lot with humor. Like
You have to.
Yeah, nobody did notice. Like
Freaking have to.
because where we live now,
Yeah.
I open up all the windows.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The doors open up, so it's almost
yeah.
like I'm living in and outside.
Yeah, it's the indoor-outdoor effect.
So we always joke around. We she'll pull on this New York accent, and start yelling at me and stuff. And what I did, I went for a walk in my neighborhood, and I realized voice carries.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
you
I'm like,
probably
yeah.
heard her all the way over.
Like, honey, they think you're abusive. It's like
That's hilarious.
Hey, Frankie, take out the garbage.
Somebody's going to, leave you a note. If
Yeah.
you need help, leave a sign.
Yeah, it
You
was
know?
funny because I didn't realize it's just like, take the garbage out. I'm like, give me a break. Stop busting my balls, And we're playing this game, and next thing you know, I'm like, hey, I'm going to walk over to AJ's, and I'm walking, and I hear these two women just sitting on a balcony talking very delightfully, low, and I could hear every word they were saying. I'm like, oh,
You're
shit.
like, oh, shit.
Yeah, we got to move, honey.
Yeah. We got to get the hell out of this
They're thinking
community.
of a bunch of lunatics. That's why they're not waving anymore.
Stop. The neighbors stop waving. Oh, that's so funny. But this field, guys, it feels great when you're
Yeah.
in it. This is that it's that thing that exists that you have the ability to access at any given time. And what's happening every day is we're layering ourselves in resistance. We're layering our experience in lack. We're keeping our attention and focus on things outside of us, not within us, on the outside, thinking that this outside world is going to make us feel whole inside, which will never happen. There is no amount of money, no amount of women, no amount of men, no amount of any thing that is going to bring you this level of wholeness. It starts and it develops from within.
And the brilliant thing that's also want to mention about the field, when you get into the field, as I mentioned earlier, the field is the governing agency. So it's a complete kit. When you get into that field, there is no planning or no knowledge previous to it that you need.
Nice.
Everything shows up.
Nice.
So when you're in the right place, there's no effort for that thing to show up, whether it's a new job or love or whatever. It's getting there. In other words, if I was trying to listen to some rock music, so classic rock or whatever, and I want to maybe hear some Zeppelin or some Van Halen or whatever, there's a particular tuning station I go to. But if I go to the one that's playing jazz, I'm going to be there all freaking day pissed off. So it's understanding. So what I could do is, this is what we do. We're on the station that's jazz, so I call up the station. Hey, can you please play me some Van Halen? Like, hey, dude, this is a jazz station. And that's how the jazz guy talks, talk like this.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, yeah, but, and I need to listen to some Van Halen. It's like, yeah, right here, this jazz station, man, we don't do that.
Wrong channel.
So I keep calling back every day to try to bug the guy. Rather than tuning the station, the frequency, and tuning it to the place and where I want to go. And once I go there, I no longer have to call the radio station. I might want to request, because I'm a control freak, can you play Led Zeppelin? I'm like, oh, we'll play at some point.
Well, hold on. So they're at home right now listening to this. They're like, well, how do I tune to that station? And I'm not talking, they're the modalities Frank and I have been discussing today, the breathing, the meditation, all sorts of things. But it starts with where you put the attention. Have you ever just tried to be happy? What is being happy?
Yeah.
It's resting in this state of,
like if you're
like, go there, start from there. And you're like, wait. No. I need something to make me happy. No, start there.
Yeah. And that's the neutral state that we're talking about. So if you feel you're out of sorts, if you feel that you're nervous or depressed or whatever like that, you could sit back and allow it. Allow the nervousness or the anxiety to come in. Allow the depression, whatever emotion that you deem to be not sustainable, which they're not, but they're tipping points, or they're pushing points or leverage points of energy that can move you into this place if you understand them. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, okay, I'm depressed. So what? Just sit back. Mm-hmm. Let me sit here and let's what I feel.
Let the shoulders kind of fall. Let your jaw loosen.
Yeah, because once I accept it, just like a hot air balloon, it's like letting go of a sandbag, right? Say you have 10 sandbags holding you down. If I let go of one, the hot air balloon rises a little bit. I let go of another one, it rises again. To the point where I let go of all of them, they make it all the way up to the jet stream. And then jet stream is the indicator, the field in which we're going.
Love it.
And that's what it is. I was joking to somebody. I was telling them, if I ever ran a hot air balloon, I'd pull people up and hey, you want to move this way? Okay, everyone get on that side and go. How many people could I convince of that?
Right. Honestly, they would probably start doing it.
And my client's like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, no one can figure that one out.
This is where my head goes.
This is where it goes, right? But when you go up in a hot air balloon, the beauty of it is once you get to that altitude, then the field takes you where you're going, and you don't have to worry about it.
Well, you're not worried about it. When you're there. It's wow. There's no I ought to be doing this or it should be this way. You understand. You're already there. It's what is happening, and I am here to observe it.
Remember when you were young, when you first got your license? I don't know if maybe you did this or not.
Talking about drivers?
Yeah. When I first got my driver's license, I would get my car, and I had no destination in mind.
Oh.
I just wanted to drive.
I remember doing that.
Remember that, just driving for the sake of driving?
Oh.
And that's the childlike state, which I'm talking about. Like, the child goes to the playground not for an acquisition or to conditionality.
It's
something.
not transactional.
It's not transactional at all. I'm like, I'm going to the playground to find my best friend and up my immune system so I can get better grades in school. I'm like, that's a lunatic child, by the way. But the kid is just drawn to the playground for the sake of going to the playground. And as a byproduct of that, they meet their best friend, their immune system boosts, and they do better in school. Mm-hmm. But if they start with, the reason I'm going is because of this, you missed something all entirely. That's
a perfect example, because we start with these things and say these are the reason we're doing tasks.
Yep. I have a job.
We do that
so
for
I can
everything.
Make a lot of money. So I want to get a job.
This is why I go to the gym. This is why I go to the job.
Yep,
why I go to my job.
Like, why are you at the gym? So when I'm, I'll be healthy at 60.
Why go to school?
Imagine how old are you? 30. I'm like, what happens if you die at 40? I'm like, oh, wait, what the fuck? Why'd you say that? It's like, you realize you wasted all your time.
Seriously. I love that you just use that as an example, because that's like the perfect. If we operated that way, how full of bliss our lives would be.
If you start to go into these fields and see how everything operates. The field is a governing agency. It always has its driver. It always has its platform. It's already set up. You just have to go and experience it. Like when you go to a movie, you don't control the damn movie. You just watch the movie. You're like, oh, wow, oh, like that. Your emotions are moving with the movie, but you're not controlling the movie. So you're not emotionless in this state. You're just not trying to control it. Because if you try to control the movie, you got to root for everyone plus yourself in the theater. Just sit back, and that's how life is meant to live. Step into this field. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Change the field. But if you're in the field that you don't like and you try to change it, good luck with that.
I was going to say, it's like trudging through mud.
It's like waiting to listen to Van Halen while they have Dizzy Gillespie on. I'm like, it's not going to happen. Like, or you could just learn to love jazz. You know?
See, when I get into that state, like that, like I know the first thing I do is I try to relax my shoulders. Then I relax my jaw. And then I start to just take a couple deep breaths.
Yeah.
And I start to try to calm down.
Yeah,
that's what I do. As soon as I start feeling myself trudging through that mud, tight chest, shoulders pulled back, like that angst.
Yeah.
That spine, that sting down the spine, the hot spine,
That there is a tipping point, is the noticing of tension, not getting rid of it. Once you notice you're tense, that's the only time when you can let go of it.
Yep.
My jaw's tense. Well, relax it. Well, before you didn't know, you're like, like you didn't even know it. And someone's looking at me, I'm like, are you okay over there?
Are you foaming from the mouth?
Oh, I didn't notice, yeah. So the moment in which you're aware of your tense, the moment in which you're aware you're depressed, the moment in which you're aware of your anxiety is the breaking moment.
Yep.
Most of us don't aware. So as we get better at this, the nuances, my focus now, my left part of my brain is focused on my nervous system and how it feels. Not like, what's going to happen? Did I get that email? I can't believe Sally said that to me. Oh, my God, I got to deal with this shit. No, it's like, okay, how do I feel? I'm like, oh, I'm a little tired. Okay, who cares? You're a little tired. Doesn't matter. But it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Who cares? You're not going to die. All of a sudden, that energy starts to change. I'm not as tired. It's not like I'm ready to run a marathon either. Like I'm working up the scales here. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, I get involved in a really good conversation because I got into this field. Next thing you know, I don't even notice I'm tired, but I realized I didn't sleep at all last night. How is that possible? But if I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm going to do 30 breaths today and I'm going to get out of this tiredness, I'm like, here you go. That's an acquisition. You're trying to conditionality. It doesn't work. Mm-hmm. I've tried it. One time I went in to do a breath work with somebody and I'm like, okay, I had
was this Woody?
Woody, yeah. And I didn't sleep at all. I think I slept like 3 hours due to circumstances. And I had like a 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was on my day off. I went in and we did it. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get through this today. Mm-hmm. That's how I was thinking. No big deal. I already got the schedule. I don't want to reschedule with him. So I went in and did that. And it was a half-hour breath exercise with him. And we went through different stuff. When I left, it felt like I had 10 hours of sleep. It's because I wasn't saying. Now, if I did the same thing the next week and said, oh, it doesn't matter because Woody's going to wake me up, it wouldn't have worked because I would have been having it conditioned to this. And then I would have judged it off the next day. This is where we go wrong. This is where we misunderstand it. Is because we're trying to get something out of it. Stop that. It doesn't work. The paradox is you will get something from it. But when your focus is, what do I get from my job? Rather than, I'm just moved to do this job. And then you're like, what can I give? And all of a sudden, you start to receive. There are byproducts that works in your favor where everyone will notice. And guess what? When you start to receive more money or energy or whatever it is, accolades, it's showing you doing it at a more refined state. That's what it's there for. Oh, okay. So these outward expressions are just showing you the refinement of where you are. But then like, oh, I have to get more refined. I'm like, you don't have to get more refined, but we're always nudged to be more refined. It's the natural state. Just keep like, how much better can I get? I'm like, well, you don't need to get better.
That's what I remind myself is it's the most natural state.
Yeah, it's to constantly keep moving. Yeah, in that state. You don't need to be in an anxiety state moving. Just nice and relaxed. And next thing you know, Like how long were you practicing guitar before you realized you're a guitar player?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got a good point with that.
Yeah, but you had to start out, and then one day, if you're in a studio making albums, touring the world, like how the fuck did that happen, right?
Totally. And it's because I didn't have this. I have to do this or this, type.
Yeah,
of
like it all
kinda
came about.
together.
It all came together.
Yep.
You starting out by playing "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on guitar.
Literally, though,
Next
whatever
thing-
I was playing.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know if Mary. Yeah.
I think my first song I ever learned was Green Day.
Green Day.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that was the first song I ever learned. I remember that.
Yeah, I
With
think
super
mine
easy
was
power chords.
Mine was Judas Priest.
Oh hell yeah!
His easy power. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, exactly. We just power chords.
Oh yeah.
That's
great.
was my first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember learning that and how cool it felt.
Yeah.
Because it sounded good.
Oh hell yeah!
and it was,
Especially
and it was
with the
easy.
distortion.
I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
My parents didn't like it much.
No, no.
My dad's he was like a Johnny Cash and Elvis fan.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, this is not music. And I'm like, he would tell me that. It's like, this is not music. He stopped playing like Johnny Cash. And like, I like Johnny Cash.
I was going to say, I love Johnny
Yeah.
Cash. And Elvis has some decent
My
stuff.
dad was into doo-wop too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. You know how doo-wop started? Because they couldn't afford instruments.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So they would have like 5 or 6 guys, and one guy would like sing a song, whatever, but the other guy's like, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom, 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 boom. Why? Because I can't afford a fucking bass. It's like,
Because I couldn't buy one.
Mom, you have a bass for Christmas? Nope.
You got a voice,
Boom,
don't you?
Boom, 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 ba-da, boom, 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 ba-da, boom.
Literally.
Right? All of a sudden you got a band, right?
No cost.
Yeah.
Very affordable.
Yeah, so it's the poor sons of bitches that are doing doo-wop. And then that's how rap came about, right? Because they couldn't afford instruments either. So they took a radio, put a cassette in it, played music, and they talked over it. And it became something. It was like huge now, but it was more of poetry or
Spoken
rap.
poetry.
Yeah, spoken poetry. And they, okay, if I just sample
And
this.
then everyone started coming in, doing their own finesse on it, and it turned into the stuff we have
Here
today.
we are, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. This
Yeah.
whole experience. There's no right. There's no wrong.
Yeah.
There just is. And then we're putting our perspective onto this is and highlighting good or highlighting bad or highlighting fear or highlighting whatever.
Yeah, and just allowing, accepting. All of a sudden, when you let go of stuff, you naturally float up to a higher level. Without it, it's just normal. It's just natural. Because what we're holding on to is keeping us down, not holding us up.
One thing too, I just want to touch on why I don't know. I just saw this the other day, and it was like, I forgot what it was, but it was talking about, okay, we all have this feeling at times where like, what if it doesn't work out, but we never ask ourselves, what if this works out better than I could imagine? What if I fly instead of what if I fail? The picture I saw said, rather than asking yourself, what if you fail, ask yourself, what if you fly?
Yeah.
And I thought that was beautiful because that is the reason where we experience so much negative versus positive is we've been taught, we've been conditioned this way to assume negative, lean towards negative, worry about the negative, because if you catch a negative, you might be able to have more positive. We never just focus on the positive. So whenever when I'm stressed or when I'm in these situations, I let the shoulders fall back. I let the tongue fall off the roof of my mouth. I let my jaw, and I ask myself, what if this all worked out? What if this all works out?
Yeah.
And it changes the whole tension. It changes the whole game.
Yeah.
And it works. I'm telling you, I've done this for years now.
And
what if this works out?
And also, too, the nuance with that comes along with it. When we loosen up our preference, because people think if this happens, this is what I identify as it working out. Where did you come up with that? Mm-hmm. Like, where did you literally come up with that? Like, circumstance, situation in my life that happened, people are like, oh my God, life is still working out, but it's unfolding as it's in front of me. So because of this happened or that happened, it doesn't mean it didn't work out. It's just I don't have a greater understanding, but now I'm about to have a greater understanding because I entered into that field. So as we loosen up our preferences, everything works out. But we're judging a working out as like, oh, if my bank account goes up, it works out. But if it goes down, it doesn't work out. And I'm like, but in the physical world, what goes up must come down. So you're going to live a 50-50 life that way. When you soften it up, when things go up, there are things you do. When things go down, there's things you could do. You could still keep the momentum going. You don't need to stop the momentum. And it's loosening up the preference of what does it mean to work out? I don't know enough to know this isn't working out. And this is where we go into the contemplative state. Why is it bad when something goes down? Because somebody said, well, is it bad when the sun goes down? Hey, you wouldn't be able to see the night stars. You wouldn't be able to see the stories of the 12 constellations that we can see. All right. Then when the sun comes up, there's other things we could see that we can see at night. So they both have their value. Someone say, I might prefer the day over night. I'm like, why is that? When you start to think about that, like, well, I'm wide awake. Well, you're only wide awake because you fell asleep at night to, dump the body of all the toxins. So without that sleep at nighttime, you wouldn't have felt this. It's the yin and yang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
what's better, breathing in or breathing out?
Exactly.
Well, it works out when I breathe in, but it certainly doesn't work out when I breathe out.
Breathing in takes effort. Breathing out doesn't.
Yeah. And when you avoided the down or the breathing out, there's the discomfort. It's the resistance of avoidance. When you allow it, yes, it feels different at night than it does in the morning. I'm not saying it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It definitely feels different when I, jump in ice cold water opposed to a hot tub. I'm not trying to, it's the same thing. Mm-mm. No, it's not. It's not. But there's exhilaration on both sides. Mm-hmm. All right? So I'm not trying to get you to lie to yourself, but why do I prefer this over this? And the answer might be, I prefer New York style pizza over Chicago. Why? Because I was born in New York. New
York is better than Chicago style.
Yeah.
It really is. Third party, I'll just throw it. I was
Chicago.
Born in Arizona. Yeah, we're going to have some Chicago comments.
Sons of bitches.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. But it's because I was born in New York. And then it was like the best one was Vinny's. Why? Because it was right around the block from my house. So I got to defend Vinny, until he pissed me off. I'm like, I'm going to that. And Sam's next to me. So all of a sudden things change, And it had to do with the direct relationship of where I was put on this planet. Exactly. I remember as a kid, like the slogan was like, New York's the best city in the world. And I always thought that was funny. Like, yeah, and, I'm pride. I'm like, and one day I'm like, why is New York the best city? I'm like, because some advertising agency got to it first. Correct. That's it. They could have been like, Delaware is the best city. I'm like, shit, we missed out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't be like, we're the second best,
Yeah, the second best city.
That's not a good sales pitch.
Yeah, right.
But like, who deemed it? And the truth is, like, that's the weirdest thing. Mm-hmm. Like, New York's the best city. How, like, based on what quota, right? There's probably people in New York that no wonder you left Arizona. But I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying we don't know, But there was a point where I'm like, yeah, I grew up in the greatest city in the world. And like, why is it so great? I'm like, because I grew up there.
Yeah, because I was told this story.
Because I was there.
Because this story was shared.
And then when I left, the place went to shit. You know?
It wasn't until I got the hell out of there.
Yeah, I'm the reason it's good.
That place went to shit. Oh, God. But I thought this was a perfect episode to kick things off for us in 2026, guys. This is the basics. This is the fundamental. The field is the governing force. Yep. The field, consciousness is fundamental. So start here. And that's the thing. It's not even, there's nothing to even start from. No. It's just like allowing yourself to rest, knowing there is nowhere to get to. So try to come from a place of not needing something to be a certain way. Yeah. And there's nowhere you have to be or you have to do. And just move forth in the direction that feels right. You're gonna accomplish the to-do list. You're gonna pay the bills. You're gonna take the kids to school. You're gonna spend time with your significant other. These things don't just fall away and you melt into no existence. That's what our minds like to make us think. Yeah. What if this? What about all your commitments and all your friends and family? It's all gonna be there. Yeah. We're not saying any of that.
You just have more energy to deal with them. And anyone out there that's struggling right now over something, it's only, it's possible to move beyond that, but you have to accept that place. And suggestions I would do, like if you're really struggling, maybe starting a breath work regimen might not be it. But get out there, find a friend, and distract yourself through talking. And notice, because this is where contemplation beats everything. So if you're struggling over whatever, and you're with a good friend and you're talking, notice how you feel. I'm like, I feel better. What happened? Your left brain was quieted down. Like when me and Mike are talking, our left brains aren't really active.
Best.
And we feel good. So when you're in that state, I suggest go into it, like have a good conversation with, sit down. There's nothing wrong with a therapist. But when you're in it, notice, my God, I'm starting to feel better. But don't give the accolade to your friend or the therapist. Mm-hmm. It's because you were interacting with another human being, interacting with nature, whatever it was. The left part of the brain starts to quiet down. All of a sudden, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland are activated more. The right hemisphere of brain starts to light up. You start to feel better. It's because you're quieting the left brain. It is possible. So whatever modality you need to know that, but once you start doing, even if you sit down and watch a TV show and you notice the angst is gone, noticing the angst is gone lets you know this is possible. It doesn't mean you have to keep watching Netflix to get there. There was something else, so keep doing that. And know it is possible, all right? And that's, we're all here for each other. This is the reason we're here, is to create one unified field where we can come and go as we please. And you just step into it.
I love that.
And create it yourself.
Sending so much love and gratitude to everybody out there. Here we are, we're rounding out the year, of 2025, year of the snake. Here we are, heading in, year of the horse. This is a transition time.
Giddy up, baby.
Yep, giddy up. Welcome to the age of Aquarius, guys. There is a reason we chose to incarnate at this time.
Yep, just sit back and watch the show and, notice how you respond and be okay with it. And notice what happens. Oh, I'm not as sad. That is enlightenment as we know it.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that.
I love that.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, much love and peace out.